Hello and welcome to another episode of Anniversary Edition. Today we are going to be talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which celebrates its 30th anniversary this year. Can you believe? Mm-hmm. As always, we're going to spoil the film, so please do go and watch it if you haven't already.
I kind of can't believe it's celebrating its 30th anniversary.
No, I kind of couldn't. When I actually wrote that out, I was like, oh my goodness.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Like such a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it just inserts so much time between it and, say, The Mummy.
Which was 10 years.
Yeah.
But they don't feel different. Well,
Yeah.
one feels better than the other by a bit.
Ooh.
But time-wise,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So I'm Sophie, and I'm here today with
Hi,
Adam.
Sophie. Hey, how's it going?
It's good, thanks. And Tom.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is a 1989 American adventure film directed by Steven Spielberg, co-written by George Lucas. And I've just written a little summary. Indiana Jones finds himself on a quest to find the Holy Grail in order to stop the Nazis from reaching it first.
Yeah, sure.
Very short.
It works, though, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to give too much away for anyone, if there is anyone that hasn't seen.
We're heading straight back to
Indiana Jones.
Raiders. It's
Yeah.
Indy saving the world
world.
from the Nazis, becoming better Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah, there is that. So, on that note, I'm assuming, Adam, you've seen this before, along with the other Indiana Jones films.
Oh, I have seen every Indiana Jones film. That's right, every one. All three of them. Last Crusade being the last film.
Just three.
All three.
Everyone.
I've seen all three Indiana Jones films.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Can't think of another one, you know? Racking my brain. There's definitely just three. I've seen all of them just 100 times.
Yeah, I don't remember a time that I haven't seen these films.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the one I've actually seen the most is Temple of Doom.
Yeah?
Because I had that I think that coincided with the popularity of VHS, being able to record at home, it being on television, and me being of the age where I would watch something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen that one the most.
Okay.
But,
Yeah. Top line thoughts? Adam.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Tom.
okay.
Oh! What?
Here's what I'm going to say. So we had a little chat before.
Oh, no, I'm really
God.
nervous.
If you give me 3 DVDs, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Mummy, and Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pick Last Crusade, hands down.
Yep.
Okay.
If you give me Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Raiders every time.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there.
So I would say
I would say it kind of what I was saying before was that I think the best Indiana Jones films depends on your mood. It depends on your day.
Yeah. I'm always
But Raiders is so well written.
It's one of
Raiders
those,
is great.
it's one of those things that I like. If I'm going to pick an Indiana Jones movie, that's the one I'll always pick.
But let's not take anything away from Last Crusade.
No. And interesting, probably Raiders is probably the one I've seen the least, so that probably adds to it.
I was going to say, I think Raiders is the one I have seen the least.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for me, Raiders would have come out when I was 1. So, whereas Temple of Doom and the whole VHS thing, and then this was a bit later, so I would have seen these two more, I think.
So Last Crusade came out roughly like when I was born.
No.
Yeah,
No, it didn't.
roughly when I was born.
You're
But the other two,
fudging those numbers there.
Well before me.
See, I think I've seen probably Temple of Doom the most.
I could say I remember.
Yeah, I think I'm
I almost feel like Temple of Doom is on TV just a
all
lot
the time.
more.
Like
Yeah.
all
Like
the
a
time.
lot more.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Which, when you think about it, I mean,
Maybe because we live in Britain, like television programmers are like, let's go back to ancient India, and that'll be really relevant to the British Empire.
those Brits just love child slave labour.
Yes,
Yeah, right, fine.
especially in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand why, Tom.
Yeah.
Why those are
Oh, yeah.
choices.
But I don't think we should take anything away from Last Crusade.
No, I think
This is
for me, top line, it's a great film, hands down.
It's one of the greats.
I mean, I think it's a really good film, but I just like I say, I wouldn't.
Noted, not the use of the word great.
I'd rather, I'd probably rather watch Jurassic Park over Raiders. Doesn't mean Raiders isn't a brilliant film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the difference there is that you've got like when you think about a sort of movie you want to watch, then you're kind of thinking, what genre movie do I want to watch, or what actor do I want to see? What am I in the mood for? Mm-hmm. All of the Indiana Jones movies are very similar because obviously they are part of a trilogy. Mm-hmm. And I just always go for Raiders. So I think there's some good stuff in this, but I don't think it's like the best of this thing.
What downer? What downer to start Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on?
Well, okay, so is it your favourite, Adam?
It depends on the day.
Okay, so it always depends.
This is the most sentimental of the indie movies.
Yeah, it was always designed to be.
And if I'm having a great day, probably my favourite Indiana Jones movie. Right. If I'm having a middling day, it'd be Raiders. If it's raining out, someone's annoyed me on the internet, God, I'm going Temple of Doom.
Yeah. See, I think the reason I've seen Temple of Doom most is, like you say, because it just always seems to be on TV.
Always on TV.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen it for years.
Oh, see, I feel
weird.
like I saw this, Temple of Doom recently.
Right.
And I feel like Raiders is on a fair amount as well in comparison, but I kind of feel like The Last Crusade isn't on very often.
No, I don't think it is.
I think The Last Crusade has a really good arc. No pun intended. The way it starts off, River Phoenix as the young Indiana Jones.
See,
that's good. That's good.
I don't like it.
It's a great little caper scene.
It's
a great caper scene with the magic. He goes into like the magic.
It is, but this is a 2-hour plus movie, and that scene has no need to be there.
Do you know what? When I first watched,
it's how he got his hat, Tom. It's how he got his hat.
But that doesn't matter now.
Of course it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Where did he get that hat from? How did he get it? I want to know.
I sat
through two Indiana Jones movies, and I'm like, but where's the hat from?
Where's the hat?
Where's
it answers why he's so scared of snakes, right? Because falling into the snake pit.
It does. How many snakes does he encounter after that in this movie?
Doesn't matter. I want to know. I want to know. All right.
But do you know what? It served the purpose of setting up young Indiana Jones franchise.
Yep.
It did.
But it's one of those things. It's like when that scene was going on, I was like, oh yeah, this must be a setup for something later on.
No, it's not. It's kind of more related to the other films.
Yeah.
It fills in some backstory.
It does.
That's the stuff that I want to know.
But do you know what? Being critical, you are totally right. It doesn't add anything to the film.
It talks about his dad a little bit. It introduces his father as a character.
Yeah.
It does a little bit, but by the same token, you could start it on the boat. If you want a pre-title sequence in like Bond speak, if you want to have your James Bond pre-title sequence that sets something up, you could have that sequence on the boat with the cross, so that Indy's coming back from somewhere, having done something to find that his father's missing. That fine, but you don't need the whole bit in the circus.
But how do you know where he got his hat from?
I don't care where he's got his hat from. I assume
you are alone, my friend. You are alone in the world.
Just, fedoras are us.
Unbelievable.
So,
it's not a fedora.
Whatever it is.
We all really like this film. We've obviously seen it lots. We've seen the franchise, the only three.
The only three, yes.
My mistake.
Crazy.
Lots. So, favourite moments. What's great about this film? What do you love?
Oh.
Adam.
What's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a paragraph that I wrote.
Does this film have any scenes that don't just glow? What do I not like? Just think about going through the film. You've got the young Indiana Jones thing, which is he comes back. He goes to the college that he lectures at. The girls are in love with him. Naturally, he's Indiana Jones. they can't help it. And then he gets whisked off to Venice to meet just a hot Nazi. Ends up in the catacombs under Venice. It's a floating city. There's no way Venice could possibly ever. There's no architectural way that city could have catacombs. But you know.
Wow.
Interesting fact, all those rats, they had 2,000. All 2,000 rats were bred specifically for the film because they had to ensure that none of them had diseases.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an interesting fact. Huh.
How long do you reckon it probably take for like half an hour to breed 2,000 rats?
Maybe 45 minutes.
So he's underneath Venice now, and it's all looking good. And then bam, they go straight to I've completely forgotten now, to be honest. The Middle East.
So I mean, you're kind of listing the entire film. So is the entire film your favourite bit?
Yes,
you just love it all.
Vienna, and then they go to Nazi Germany where he gets Hitler's autograph, and they're tied up in the house in the Austrian.
Yeah, in the castle.
Austrian
castle. There's the Zeppelin scene.
There's the Zeppelin scene, and then boom, they're in bloody Petra, and you're just there. Like they do the tank fight scene. Like
you're so excited.
I am. I can hardly
loving
breathe.
This film.
So we're talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and you're asking me like, did one scene in particular stand out? And I'm asking you, what film were you watching?
Well, I mean, clearly a different one, because I'm not sort of like jumping out my seat. I mean, no, I'm being unfair. I loved a lot of it.
If
I've
you were
written
to put any
literally
one
a paragraph.
of those scenes, those setups, those scenarios in any other film, they'd be the best part of that film if it wasn't in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yeah, I struggled to pick one. Literally, I've written a paragraph. I love the tank scene.
One of the best.
I think that's great.
One of the best like vehicular action scenes of all time.
It's so good. I love some of the dialogue between Indy and his dad.
Oh God,
that was actually uncredited and written by Tom Stoppard.
Oh really?
They brought him in to punch up all of the
That's
dialogue.
Interesting.
Really worked.
And
it works really well.
He essentially wrote pretty much all the dialogue, and I'm specifically concentrating on Indian.
It works. It works so well. It makes a massive difference having that interplay between the two of them.
It's a very different character for Sean Connery as well, isn't it? Because you're used to him being like this sort of barrel-chested, suave, sexy James Bond character. And he's an old Scottish man in a hat.
And he's a bit...
and he's having the best time.
Yeah, but he's also a little... I mean, he's not useless, but he's like, I don't really know what to do, so I'm just going to sit down and...
He's a bit
clumsy.
clumsy.
No, wait, I've made it... I've saved
clumsy.
the day. But he is a bit clumsy, and he's just kind of...
But isn't he having fun? Like, Sean Connery's... He's glowing in this role.
Yeah.
He's having the most fun. I've written down, this is the last time you'll ever see Sean Connery have this much fun in a movie.
The closest he comes to it is The Rock.
Yeah.
But
there's so much in this. And I love the music. Oh my goodness, the score is just incredible.
I can't really remember it. It didn't stick out to me.
What?
The score. Like, there's nothing in it that isn't... Like, I mean, I know the Indiana Jones theme.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I didn't even really notice.
Oh, I just think it's gorgeous.
When
it just
they're
sails.
leaving... When they're leaving
any of it,
Petra, and the knight puts his hand up, and the music swells.
Yeah,
I love the score. I think it's great.
Captain Stoneheart over here.
Didn't even notice there was music. I know. It's just
I mean, obviously, the Indiana theme, theme tune, is iconic. But yeah, I love it. It just takes you through so subtly, and it's just, I thought it was great. Yeah, I'm kind of gushing a little bit now. I'm
yes!
like, it's amazing.
Join the gushers. Oh, that came out wrong.
It's great. I really struggled to pick out specific.
This is a 5-star movie.
Scenes. Tom, how about you?
I mean, I like the Zeppelin scene. I like the tank chase, and for me, like the bit where I get engaged most is from the tank sequence onwards.
Yes.
And into Petra and in the stuff with the night and stuff like that. Before that, I find it a bit. Let's go here and do that. Let's go there and do that. Let's do that.
It's a little slower in some ways.
Yeah,
than the other films. Maybe.
All of that to me is Spielberg linking Last Crusade back up to Raiders.
I mean, kind of. I just feel it's a bit like. It feels a bit functional up until that point.
See, I think it's because of the fact that his dad's in it. I think it's kind of because it's the only one that he's in, they have to find this sort of other dimension to Indiana Jones and to give that sort of...
They humanise him a lot in this film.
They do.
They do. And like, it is, when they're on screen together, that's when it comes alive more.
Yeah.
But I do find like the story of it, like I suppose the plot of it is very like bam, 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 this, that,
like,
the
now
other.
we have to do this, now we have to do this.
It's
which
a
I think like
story. He has to get the leads together.
I get that, but I think like if you'd cut out that whole sequence at the beginning that you don't need and still had a 2-hour 10-minute movie, then you've got more time to do it a bit more naturally.
Yeah.
Like with the Indiana Jones film, like everything he figures out very quickly, or something happens very easily. So like, you know, like they literally walk into the church and he's like, oh, there's a 3, there's a 7, oh look, there's a 10 on the floor, let's bash a hole. Oh look, we're in the catacombs. Oh look, there's the thing.
He has to go upstairs to see that.
Well, yeah, fine. But do you know what I mean? It's like
it's stairs.
It's very kind of quick and easy.
Yes.
So yeah, but I mean, in terms of favourite scenes, like I like the stuff on the Zeppelin, just because I just think airships are really cool. You know, that's the one kind of like, I kind of feel like I wish airships were still a thing, and then I think, would I fly in one? Probably not, but I just wish they were a thing.
Yeah, I think the only bit that stands out, I'm completely jumping ahead in the sort of narrative of this podcast, but I failed to list one scene that I thought was great, because I think so many are. Mm-hmm. The one scene that is great, but is a bit like, okay, they just took a step to the side here for no reason, is when he's in Nazi Germany at the book burning ceremony.
Yes. And that's
great scene.
That's one of Spielberg's.
Why is it here?
That's one of Spielberg's biggest regrets.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Having that in
and
the film?
having the joke of Hitler sign the book.
Okay.
Because, you know, literally like 4 years later, he's making Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah,
Probably
I used Hitler as a punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is kind of a regret.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't add anything, does it?
No,
it doesn't add anything, and I don't think it's wrong to use Hitler as a punchline.
No, but you know what I mean.
Steven Spielberg is someone who, you know, he's a Jewish guy. He made Schindler's List, so Hitler is, you know, such a demagogue. But I think, humanizing Hitler is something that has merit in looking back on history.
It's such a...
Well, we've gone super serious.
We have, yeah. I was just going to say, it's such a kind of flippant scene in the plot of the film, though.
Yeah. I think I'd agree that that's the one that kind of jars.
Yeah.
Which I probably would have laughed at as a kid.
They don't need to lose the book. They invent a reason to have to go to that book burning ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. That is probably the only thing, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think like the tank stuff's a standout for me. The stunts in that are just
Oh my goodness, incredible.
Beautiful
amazing.
Scene. Brilliant scene.
Yeah. And then obviously, Tom, you said that the opening for you is something that's just a bit unnecessary
it's
as well.
completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's well executed, don't get me wrong.
It's fan service, is what it is.
Yeah.
And I like fan service. It depends. Listener, if you like fan service, then you like the beginning scene. If you don't like fan service, just to give you that little peek behind the curtain as to the motivation and younger life of Indiana Jones, you don't need it. And that's fine. You can start the film with Indiana Jones getting punched in the face in the rain.
So
In the rain? Was it rain?
The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles started in 1992. So
92.
I feel like it was a let's test the waters to see if we can create this TV show.
See if it
River
works.
Phoenix has such a great look. And he actually kind of works, as,
He works,
as a young Harrison Ford.
It really does.
Yeah, didn't get the TV gig there, does he? Or was he dead by that point?
He was dead by that point, right?
I'm not sure
What year
when
did
it
he
was.
die?
I don't know.
1993.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have done it, but
So just after.
yeah.
Sad.
I mean, would he have taken the job? He was on the
clearly
cusp
no.
of being a major movie star.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I found, well, it's not weird. I just want to test the water. I think I'm fan theorying too much.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. I like a good fan theory.
It's not an Indiana Jones fan theory.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
Oh, okay,
everyone.
right.
So near the end, it's so stupid. Obviously, the female love interest Nazi in this is called Elsa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's not the same Elsa from Frozen. No, sorry.
No, but one of the lines
Yeah.
he keeps saying to her is, let it go, let it go, let it
She
go.
does, yeah.
Because he's like, don't just leave it, let it go.
Yeah.
And don't stop reaching. Is this the inspiration for the movie / song Frozen?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Case closed.
100%.
Categorically
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Just linking
Absolutely.
Indiana Jones to Disney there.
Yeah.
Thanks. Just wanted some verification. That's it. That's my fan theory.
That's your fan
it.
theory.
It's really tiny. It's not really a theory. It's just a question.
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can't see any problems
Yeah.
with that at all.
Brilliant.
No.
Okay.
No, Frozen inspired by Nazis. So says Sophie.
Well, I
Frozen
mean,
inspired by Indiana Jones.
you know, I think it just makes sense to me.
Okay. Great. Moving on.
Fan theory. Case closed. We will talk about Elsa. Can we talk about Elsa?
We can totally talk about Elsa. It seems fitting now.
Great performance. Irish actress, Alison Doody.
Great performance.
Looks gorgeous. She's just stunning.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
But great accent work. I feel like, you remember Temple of Doom? The woman in that who ended up marrying Steven Spielberg?
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
She was the worst thing about that film by far. And they fixed that problem big time with Last Crusade because Elsa is a great femme fatale.
She is a great femme fatale.
She has agency.
Mm-hmm.
She has personality, some attitude.
Mm-hmm.
She's smart. She's sexy. She's globe-trotting.
She's also a human, though.
Yeah.
She makes mistakes. She knows she does. She questions her own morality.
Yeah.
She questions her moral compass.
Yeah. And she's not following around going, Indy! Indy!
Yeah,
oh, God!
She's
Indy!
never really a damsel in distress, is she? Until the end, and she becomes, Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think she's a great character.
She's a great character and very well performed.
Yes. Do we think in the final scene where they're picking the Holy Grail,
Yeah.
is that intentional by
I
her?
think she kills him. She knows full
Oh, yes.
well that is
Yeah?
not... Yeah.
I mean, I was like, yeah,
This
I
was
never
actually
picked
the
up on
first
that
time
as a
I
kid,
clocked that.
though.
I clocked that for the first time in this watch through that she
Yes.
kills him.
Yes, yeah.
Because when I was a
absolutely she does.
child, that always passed me by.
And then she has to die.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. She kills him because she knows, and then she succumbs to the same thing.
Yeah.
The lust for power,
Yeah.
essentially, or eternal life.
Yeah. It's she is great. I mean, Harrison Ford.
Oh, boy.
Let's just take a minute to talk about
Harrison Ford in the 1980s and late 70s.
Winning at life.
70s and 80s, and maybe even for 5 years in the 90s. So good.
So good. Such a great... I mean, he just is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely think there was a point where he just got sick of being a movie star.
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And if you listen to this, Harrison, we don't blame you. We don't blame you one bit. You gave us 25 years of some of the most amazing films we've ever seen. So, well done. If you're sick of doing them now, just quit.
Yeah,
I mean, he is so good in this.
he's got that.
He's Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just is.
A lot of people, I think, they think of Harrison Ford, and you could probably put them into two different camps. When you say Harrison Ford, do you think of Han Solo, or do you think of Indiana Jones?
I'm Camp Indy.
I'm Camp Indy. Tom?
I have two different camps.
If you...
Oh.
Okay.
I think of Han Solo and Indiana Jones,
Oh, okay.
Right.
or Richard Kimball,
Richard Kimball. That's an
Interesting.
interesting one.
because his
Not the
90s
president from
action
Air
stuff,
Force One.
like Jack Ryan, Richard Kimball,
Yeah.
like 90s action Harrison
Oh,
Ford
yeah.
versus
What's the one he did with the IRA?
oh god, that is he Jack Ryan in that one?
Is that a Jack Ryan one?
I think it is.
Okay.
That's oh no, I can't remember that.
Oh, that's really
not a good
interesting
film.
that you separate
No.
them
Yeah,
out like
because that's
that.
how I see.
Well, those are his two different...
I would argue
Well,
that
yeah.
Indiana Jones and Han Solo pretty much the same character.
Yes, but Indiana Jones is so much better.
Indiana Jones is a lot better.
His intentions are better.
Han Solo's a bit of a loser. He's not he's not as slick as he thinks he is.
No.
Indiana Jones just drowning in
but
girls.
Indiana Jones is like he's a professor and he teaches.
good at
and
what he
he's
does.
Smart and
That's what I mean. Indiana Jones he has a quest for knowledge.
Yes.
And Han Solo just is out for himself and
Well, yeah.
wants to get rich and
It's
he's a rogue.
Hero, idolizing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think,
But I think they're very, very similar.
I guess it's you pull that performance
Indie.
from a similar place, but
It's
for me,
indie.
it's
It's
indie.
indie.
Yeah, I'd agree, but I'm just saying. That, yeah.
What a man.
I kind of don't even, in my head though, associate his later performances with Indiana Jones.
No, that's what I
Because he
mean.
just-
You kind of
you're
separate
right,
the
he
two.
just
That's why
absolutely
I
is
separate them that way.
Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
Richard Kimball is a world away.
Miles
Yeah,
away.
exactly. Yeah.
And even, I know we haven't mentioned it to this point, but as an actor, he went through a considerable change. So when he came back to doing indie, which he didn't do, by the way,
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
he literally didn't play indie anymore.
No.
I was looking at him and thinking,
Yeah.
this isn't Indiana Jones anymore.
Yeah.
He's just complaining all the time.
Yeah, and I think kind of
He's not kicking ass. He's just old and moaning.
he is grumpy as Indiana Jones.
He's
which
grumpy in
actually,
general.
thinking of it more, he is closer to Han Solo than I would have given credit for thinking beforehand, because he's also cranky and grumpy. But yeah, he has a charm that I don't think is as charming in
And I
his
think
portrayal of Han Solo.
what's
for me.
interesting in this film, particularly in terms of Indy's charm, I think it's the interplay between him and Sean Connery is where that comes out, but where it doesn't come out is where it usually does, which is with all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And so when you're bashing through those scenes, cracking the plot along to get
Yeah.
to the point where he can be with his dad to get to the relationship you're looking for, that's why I feel it is a bit lacking in that setup, because he's not as charming and as charismatic as he has, because those scenes are very functional. There's a lot of exposition and let's get the
drivers.
plot out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Really?
For me, the reason he's not as charming anymore isn't because he's stuck on a roller coaster that is the script moving along, but you can see him become a teenager again around his dad. See, for me, this relationship between him getting his father back is so profound.
Yeah.
It really touches me. The idea that, he never had this dad that he always wanted.
Yep.
And his dad never had the son that he wanted.
Yeah.
And as adults coming together.
Well, I think it's where they suddenly understand each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful story. And it's the kind of love story you don't get that doesn't come around very often.
No. Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things because Indy sees he gets an insight into the obsession that his father had.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is obsessed about it. Indy's not particularly bothered about the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But he does get kind of like, it would be cool to find it.
Yeah.
But he's not kind of got the obsession
He's a jobber.
for it.
Yeah.
Everyone- yeah.
He's a jobber. He's a jobbing architect.
Yeah.
Architect? That's the wrong word.
That is
Archaeologist.
the word,
Archaeologist, thank you.
But yeah,
That'd be a different film.
then but then senior gets
Indiana
to see
Jones
his
and the Last Colonnade.
he gets to see his son in his element. He gets to
Yeah.
understand the adrenaline rush that he
Well,
gets.
there's an exchange of mutual respect that
Yes.
that never happened before.
Yeah.
And as you say, Adam, like understanding, because they just didn't function
Yeah.
on a level of understanding
no
each other
use
in
for each
any
other.
way.
Well,
Yeah.
at least the dad never had use for Indy at any point. At any point.
Well,
And
he says,
never
doesn't he, in that
cared
scene?
for him at all up until
Yeah.
the point that he thought he'd lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he says, I never wanted to, mollycoddle you, essentially. And he's like, I made
Yeah.
you strong. And
I was a great dad.
I was a great dad. And I'm like, do you believe that? Or did you choose to take a step back? Or, but I think the character believes it, I think.
Yeah, but then I think it's he's looking at it in like, I provided for him, I gave him the education. So
Very
it's kind of like it's that.
pragmatic.
Yes, it's
Gave
I'm
you
a great dad
independence.
because
Yeah, you had everything.
Yeah.
You weren't, you can stand on your own 2 feet now. How many people can say that they don't
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
rely on
Everything
their parents?
but what
and
he really needed.
yeah,
Sad.
it is. But so lovely because, as you say, you get this transition in the relationship between father and son, which is so nice.
Once they put them together, once they put Indy and the dad together, they never separate them. All the way up until the dad gets shot. When Indy has to save the life of a man that he's resented for the entirety of his life.
He gets separated with him when he's in the tank, right?
Well, yeah.
But I mean, it's only momentarily.
Through some sheet metal.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other.
Yes. But yeah, and do you know what? I'd not forgotten that he shot him. But when it happened, I was like, oh.
Great. It was really well shot. Do you remember, like, the cinematography of that shot? The gun just sort of... And the camera just pans with the gun.
With the gun.
Just pans with the gun.
So
like,
clever.
In a really almost sinister way, the camera just goes...
Yeah, it just jinks to one side, isn't it? And it's just... it's enough. Because I don't know if you see the gun in that shot, do you?
You see the gun, but you don't see where it's pointing. You see it just
right,
to one side.
The movement.
Then you see
the
side of Sean Connery's head, and you hear a bang. And you see him react to it.
And it's such a good... The actor
really well
as well, because he just... It's just his forearm. Just acts like he doesn't do anything else.
That is Spielberg.
There's no other giveaway, and it's just...
Yeah, that is Spielberg through and through. I can guarantee you, Steven Spielberg was like, just move your arm like that.
Keep your elbow in.
Just move it like that.
And just out.
No, just can we tie his arm maybe to his? Just
Maybe
move
it was tied
like that. And the actor was probably like, why does he keep making me do this?
I mean, it's brilliant.
Walks away with the perfect shot.
Yeah.
So it was the cinematographer was a guy called Douglas Slocum.
Yep.
Who was an absolute bona fide cinematography legend.
Yeah.
Wow.
He learnt his skills in the war, basically as a war reporter, but as a filmmaker. So he he was a camera operator, and so he learnt all of his how to expose film and stuff in the most crazy situations. He could just walk into an environment and look at his hand and know exactly what settings the camera needed to be on.
Wow, that's
You'll get there one day, Tom.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
He actually he's done a lot of good movies. He did all. He did.
I mean, a lot of good movies.
He did all of the Indiana Jones movies.
Sure.
All
of them.
All three.
And no more. All three and no more.
He did another movie that we're going to cover soon on the podcast as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say which one. But he did a bunch of the Ealing comedies as well. So he did like Kind Hearts and Coronets and Lavender Hill Mob, Man in a White Suit, Titfield Thunderbolt. So he did a lot of those. So this was his last movie.
Oh, okay.
Which he retired after.
Right.
And then he died in 2016 at the age of 103.
Oh my goodness, 103.
Yeah, he was born in 1913.
Whoa. Wow, he saw a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the cinematography in this is
it's stunning.
It is.
There's something that it was Steven Soderbergh did a really interesting experiment, and he took Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Yeah.
He got rid of all of the sound. Mm-hmm. He put in this really horrible electronic music, but he got rid of all of the sound, and essentially the best way to watch this experiment that he did is to put it on mute.
Okay.
He made it black and white, and you can literally watch Raiders of the Lost Ark as a silent movie and know exactly what's going on.
Wow.
Because the cinematography, the direction and the blocking is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you just know what's happening.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me because it's so good.
We have the best people who have ever been, in this industry working on this film.
It is one of the best looking black and white movies I have ever seen in my life. It looks so good in black and white.
How interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Spielberg's blocking is legendary.
Yeah, and it just the way he uses the camera and or directs the camera. It's incredible.
So we've talked a little bit about characters and performances.
Yeah.
But do we have a favourite character in this? Tom, I'm going to come to you first.
I mean, it's got to be. it has to be sort of Indy and Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the it's almost Butcher and Sundance again. It's
Yes.
all about those two. Which is why I still think the first half is a bit flat because you don't have that dynamic. But I do have a soft spot for Denham Elliott as Marcus
Oh,
because
so
he's
good.
just Denham Elliott is one of those actors that just can steal a scene like nobody.
Yeah.
And
He's brilliant.
I think
He
he's
should have
excellent.
been. He should have been in Monty Python, really, shouldn't he?
Oh yeah, he's great in this. Adam, how about you?
It's hard to not say that Indiana Jones is my favourite character in Indiana Jones film. I think there are a lot of great characters in this film, all well written and extremely well performed.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's
Obviously,
in
Denham
Indiana
Elliott's
Jones.
good. John Rhys Davies does what John Rhys Davies do. Julie, that printed on a t-shirt. Julian Glover, as the
Julian Glover.
Oh yes, yeah, of course.
American Nazi, very good. Maybe I'm sitting here like trying to not be predictable, basically. Sean Connery's excellent,
Yes.
and Harrison Ford is excellent. And do I want to say Alison Doody? I could.
She's great.
She's great.
So I have a quick question for you on the subject of Sean Connery.
Okay.
How many films have you seen Sean Connery in that aren't
James Bond films.
James Bond films or Indiana Jones?
I would have no idea.
Can you think of one without looking at IMDb? Can you like? I'm sure you could name one of his films, but can you think of one where you like? Oh yeah, Sean Connery movie. That.
Highlander.
Do you definitely think of him in Highlander? Is he even in the first one?
Yeah.
He's in the first one.
I can't think of any.
You can't think of
To be
any.
fair, it's all I can think of is James Bond films.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Lee, Extraordinary Gentleman, obviously. The Rock, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, League of, yeah, okay. No.
What was
can I
the
look
film
it
he
up?
was in with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, where he wore like
a turtleneck
turtleneck,
for the
yeah,
entire
black
movie.
turtleneck.
Entrapment.
Entrapment. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's
It's interesting because these are all quite late movies. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're more what you're more familiar with.
I mean, dude was like, he looked 40 until he looked 60. You know?
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, he's such a hugely well-known actor.
Yeah.
But when
Yes.
you think of him as James Bond
yeah, absolutely.
and not much else. The movie that I think is probably the standout movie that he made was a movie called The Man Who Would Be King, which is him and Michael Caine.
I've not seen that.
It's a great film.
Oh, okay.
Great film.
But you're right, you have that association of him
Yeah.
as James Bond.
I'm going to throw a few out.
Okay.
Because the thing with Sean Connery is, Sean Connery, do you think of him as a great actor? Actually, probably not.
No, I don't.
But
Probably not.
Untouchables,
Yeah, The Untouchables,
yeah.
The Hunt for
Hunt for Red
October.
October, yeah. Medicine Man, Rising Sun, like all of that
Time
stuff.
Bandits.
Time Bandits, yeah. The Hill was one of his big ones in the 60s.
The Bridge Too
Longest
Far.
Day, Bridge Too Far.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
No,
I always find it like
Express.
him kind of fascinating because you don't. He's not on that list of like legendary
No,
actors.
yeah, if you
really.
had-
So
If you asked us
synonymous
to rate
with
them-
James Bond that it,
Yeah.
It's not surprising that he felt like James Bond may have killed his career at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
May have been A-lister, but at the same time,
But you're just James Bond.
it killed his career.
Yeah, forever. You're always going to
Yeah.
be James Bond.
Well,
He's made some of the... Yeah, I mean, Sean Connery, we've been over this list. He's made some of the great films that if it was any other actor,
yeah. You'd
You'd
be
say-
like, "They were
Yeah.
one of the greatest actors
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah, but you're
aren't
right.
if he was
I
never
wouldn't
James
list
Bond, if he'd have
him
missed
on
that
the-
job,
Yes, absolutely.
they? Yeah.
he'd be there.
Well, next year is the anniversary of The Man Who Would Be King, so
Yeah.
we should definitely do that because that's a phenomenal movie.
Okay.
So Adam, I don't think you actually answered because you were trying to not be predictable.
I was trying to not be predictable,
Yes.
but I'm going to I'm going to say Sean Connery.
Okay. It's Indiana Jones for me. All the way, favourite character. And I think probably favourite performance is Harrison Ford.
I kind of see. I think this is the least Connery-like performance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the one where you forget he's Sean Connery the most.
He's very vulnerable in this film.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is. And you worry for him.
Not something Sean Connery plays.
No,
like watching the film though, as a grown-up now, I was like, oh, like careful because
He's gentle with
over
him.
there. You know, yeah, because you worry about him because he's not a hero in this. I mean, I suppose you could argue that he is, but he is not presented as a hero that you're not concerned about because you know they're going to win because they're the good guy.
It's another one of those films you watch differently as an adult and as a child as well.
Yeah.
Because when you're a child, you're like, oh yeah, Indiana Jones traveling across the world, banging Nazis, hell yeah, Last Crusade's the tits. And then as an adult, you watch the film from the perspective of, this is something that is almost universal. The idea of what interrelating to your parents and mending all of the multiple wounds that come with being brought up by someone.
Yes.
And finding a way to be friends with your dad.
Yeah.
But I think it has such a
That's
different
huge.
dimension. Yeah.
Anytime that is in a movie, it bowls me over.
Yeah.
It's great though, because like, you know, you, as you say, you watch it thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to watch, because you're excited to watch an action film.
Yeah.
And then it has this complete additional dimension. And we've talked about this before, but so many films have that, where as a child you watch something and it completely passes you by. But it's so touching as an adult watching that, because you think, you know, you have the opportunity to, as you say, to fix, to mend wounds and to mend relationships. And it's so nice to see and to watch that journey between the two of them.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen the film Always?
No.
With Richard Dreyfuss?
No.
Okay. Because I just kind of thought to myself, well, where was Spielberg? Like, where was he, like, in it? What headspace was he in when he was making this? I was trying to work it out. And he'd gone from, doing things like Close Encounters, Raiders, E.T.
Yep.
And then he did a few kind of things like, then he did like Temple of Doom. Then he made The Colour Purple, which was a big turning point for him. In terms of the tone of movies that he could make. And he could make these...
Stretching his muscles a little bit.
He could make these intellectual, like, movies that had a real, like... Significance to them. Alongside these things. So he'd made The Colour Purple, Empire of the Sun, and then he did Last Crusade, and then also Always. And Always is a kind of like... It's a kind of a bittersweet romantic drama, really. About dealing with death and stuff like that. So it's kind of like it's an interesting headspace he's in, because then he goes on to Hook and Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. So like it's that he's starting to just diversify those things.
Sorry, just hearing you read,
Well, yeah.
I mean, we all know it anyway. But
Spielberg's my favourite director. You know, I just want to go back to saying that I didn't want to say Indiana Jones, but I do want to say that Indiana Jones is probably my favourite adventure character of all time.
Of all time,
yeah.
Interesting.
Who are you? Like, what's your list?
I'd probably go with James Bond.
James Bond, or
See, it's weird. I don't really put James Bond and Indiana Jones in the same.
You should.
Category.
They travel the world, and they defeat the forces of
but
evil.
But he's like
Luke Skywalker.
Gadget man, you know.
Bond.
Jack Sparrow.
He's not. I mean, he's not really, because he's
occasionally
not.
Has gadgets.
Mr. Gadget, but he's
the
he's
whole
got
Bond
cars
gadget thing is
and-
so overbaked, isn't it? There's this perception that James Bond, you know, he's got these sci-fi gadgets he uses to, you know, defeat the forces of Spectre. But
yeah, and you're right, he hasn't.
Really.
He barely uses them.
He's got fast cars and.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they have machine guns. Do you know that actually? We'll have to get on this when we do a Bond movie. But they're actually Aston Martin are making 25 Aston Martin DB5s, so like the classic 60s Bond car with all of the Bond gadgets in it.
Wow.
and you can buy them for just shy of £3 million.
I mean, sure, yeah.
Casual.
Yeah.
Just write a check.
People will buy them.
I was like, that's cool.
That is pretty cool.
There are
But
a lot
yeah,
of millionaires out there with a lot of money to burn.
I don't know. I think it's because I just don't put him in the same category.
I feel interestingly, I kind of think you mentioned this. I don't know if it was before we started recording or not, but Indiana Jones is almost like a genre of its own, and Bond is almost like a genre of its own.
Yeah.
They fit within action adventure or spy thriller or whatever, but they're such a thing to themselves.
They're an institution.
That I can see why you wouldn't put those things together, but I can also see why you can put them together.
Well, when I think of kind of other heroes or characters like Indiana Jones, I kind of, and maybe it's the association because it's of a time period, but I would associate that more with like films like The Mummy and, you know, like Rick from that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, right.
Maybe it's because it's contemporary and it's historical.
You know what
maybe
it is
that's what
for
it is.
me? Is that when you looked at a poster for a James Bond movie, it would say James Bond in Dr. No.
Yeah.
Or maybe not Dr. No at that point, but James Bond in The Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah.
And if you watch an Indiana Jones film, it would say Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So, like, the character's almost bigger than the movie.
Yes, and I totally see that
I
there are
think Jack
comparisons.
Sparrow is bigger than the Pirates movies as a character.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes there are just these characters that transcend the films they're in, which is almost, you know, an unbelievable idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that a character can become, that belongs in a film only, can become bigger than the thing it lives in. Like,
Sherlock
kind
Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's weird again, Sherlock Holmes. See, I think because there's been so many adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, I don't.
I mean, hell, Captain America
don't fit
in
into a
Civil
category.
War, Captain America, Winter Soldier. You know, sometimes, I mean, they gave it a go, didn't they? God bless him. Yeah, sometimes these characters just become
transcend,
titular in their own
films. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, because I think,
Indy's
like,
that
for
for me.
example, if you were like, I'm going to watch a spy thriller,
Yep.
is a very different thought to, I'm going to watch a Bond movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
If you think I'm going to watch a spy thriller, you wouldn't necessarily even think of watching a Bond movie, but you think I'm going to watch a Bond movie.
Would.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, but interestingly, not the more recent Bonds.
No. The older ones.
Yeah, the older ones I would.
Yeah, no, I'm on Tom's side. If I wanted to watch a spy thriller, they're almost very different genres to me because at that point I'm thinking maybe I could watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the
it's the
Ipcris
word.
file.
It's the word
Yeah,
spy. I think for me because I just
but
have that.
James Bond isn't a spy.
I mean, he is.
I mean, is he? When have you seen him do honest spy work?
He's
tapping a phone.
Technically, no. He's more what they would refer to as an operative. In fact, the 00 stands for overseas operative.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think the difference is a spy is someone who gathers information.
Yes.
James Bond is someone who does that needs to be done after that
Is a
information has been
doer.
found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But coming back to
Last Crusade.
yeah, for me.
It's a dreamy movie.
They're just a genre in their own right. I think I kind of agree with you on that.
It's a cheese toasty of a movie.
It is.
It's warm. It's delicious.
It's great.
It makes you feel good.
So we all think it looks great. It still holds up. It's a great movie. I just don't really think there's much else we can say.
This is the problem, right? We can't really get our hooks into a film that is just a polished
Solid
marble.
It's a solid
movie. But
very,
yeah.
very, very
There's
good.
nothing to pick
film.
apart here.
No.
It's not even there's not even like a dodgy performance at any point.
Nope.
The only thing is, well, other than going to the Nazi rally and the complete lack of catacombs below Venice, they'd have been swimming. Let me tell you that much.
A few teeny tiny issues.
Otherwise, we're good.
Pretty flawless.
We're good, Spielberg. Done it again.
Done. So, a bit of a step change to next week, because we are going to be talking about 10 Things I Hate About You, which is
Yep.
very
After
different.
failing to find 10 things we hate about Raiders of the Lost Ark. Last Crusade, sorry.
Yes. So join us next week.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that. And thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
This podcast was recorded in the Upbeat Studio in Soho. For studio inquiries, drop us an email on studio@upbeatproductions.com. You can also find us on Twitter. Head to @UpbeatProd to see what we're up to, and @Upbeat_ENTS for our film coverage and entertainment news.